What's up, everybody? This is Mark from Solar Games, and Happy New Year. And as promised in last year, I'm going to be doing the Solar Games Runs Wizards of the Coast series. So this is episode 1, Market Stability. Like I promised like 5 days ago, last year, 5 days ago, same thing. The whole idea of this series is that I just want to maybe put something into like a slice of time for the future so that I can go reference this video in the future and look at what I was thinking, kind of what the market situation was and how player sentiments were. And if this makes it all the way up to Wizards and they see this video, great. Maybe they make some changes based on what I'm saying. That's awesome. But if they don't, at the very minimum, it's something for me to go reference back and say, hey, these are the things I was thinking about in 2023. And it's probably just going to be fun in 5-10 years when I actually eventually look at this video and say, oh, like, what was I actually thinking? That's crazy. That's stupid. These kind of things. So, all right, without further ado, so let's talk about market stability. So I think draft boosters or booster boxes in general falling 20 to 50% in price over 2 months after release of the product is a big problem. And that really needs to be solved because it hurts the game, because you're killing player confidence in the product, you're killing LGS confidence in the price, and of course overall, like, nobody likes overpaying for things and having buyer's remorse. And so we need to make sure that people don't feel that way when they buy a product and go home. So players' lack of confidence, of course, will drive down the price because, well, who's going to pay a high price to someone or something when they know that price is going to fall later, right? So that's just stupid. And no one's going to actually do that. And if everyone just basically waits for these dumps or something, who's going to actually pay the out-of-the-door price ever? And in fact, this cycle is a self-fulfilling prophecy because, well, if I know that the prices are going to fall, let's say 50% by month 2, why pay it at in the beginning? And if I don't pay in the beginning, that's actually going to cause a real supply glut, which will actually force the price of that product to continue to fall. So in some ways, because the players are anticipating that there will be a dump, that actually creates that dump. So that's really bad for a market. So how do we go about fixing this? Well, I think the first thing that we need to do is actually induce a supply shock. So we're going to shock the market to life, right? And how do we do this? Starting with the next set, I propose cut print runs by half to a third. Like literally just take half the boxes, don't print them. If we're printing 300K, print 150. Simple as that, right? And then the set after that, cut it by another third. Why do we do this? This is really important, right? Because basically you don't want to communicate that you're doing this. Right now, at this point, WotC's PR and just general like trustworthiness is so low that even if you say, oh, we're seeing supply issues, we're going to adjust our supply and whatever, nobody's actually going to trust you. Nobody cares. Nobody thinks that it's actually going to happen. So just don't do it. Don't say that you're going to do it. Actually do it. Show it through your actions. And realistically, look, the secondary market is very smart. It can adjust to the differences in supply very quickly. And as long as you just do 2 sets where you start instilling that like confidence back in the product, you're going to have a much better runway for the rest of the year. Again, remember, and there's really no fear here. These are initial print run numbers. I'm not saying for the entire set, cut it by a third. All Magic sets, especially Premier sets, are print to demand anyways, right? Except your Master sets. I don't know about the remaster sets. Maybe they're print to demand as well. I think TSR, for example, had a second print run, so I don't know, right? You can print to demand. So just lower your initial print runs and allow that supply to flush through the market. Basically, make sure that like people are actually buying it, and then give it some time to see if the set is successful, and then that will determine if a second, third, fourth print run is actually necessary. Once everyone realizes that, because again, you're cutting the supply in this way, once the market actually realizes that you're doing this, they will adjust. Now, look, the first set is going to be rough because people are probably going to still fire sell the set thinking that the supply is going to be low or high. But what they're going to find out is when there's not a reprint for 6 months, it's going to shock the entire supply or price back up. And you do need this Because what essentially you need to do now is you need to create a adjustment for everyone's kind of like, what they're used to. Shock them back to thinking, hey, look, guess what? Don't believe that the supply is going to be just readily available. We're going to overprint everything. At least cause some confusion in that. Yeah, and basically, at some point, customers are thinking maybe some sets, if it does really poorly, it actually just gets one print run. That's going to cause your prices to be a lot more stable for the market for the entire duration of that product being available. Customers are going to feel a lot less, worried about paying a price at pre-release and then seeing that price drop 20 to 50% within like a very quick amount of time. And at the end of the other side, on the Wizard side, we're going to have less supply glut because again, you're not printing that much, so you wouldn't even have a supply that's piling up in the warehouse for you to find in 20 years, right? So, and you can actually, with that lack of supply glut, you can actually start commanding better prices. What a shocker, right? If the product's selling well and people want the product, well, I can just charge more for it? Yes, that's how that works. It's actually that simple. It's really that simple. I don't know why they can't implement it, right? Okay, again, don't announce the print runs. Just let it silently happen. Let it bleed through the market. Let people feel that, yep, the supplies are constrained. Similar to actually, I guess, how Jumpstart 2022 feels this time around and Warhammer decks and maybe what Brothers War is happening too. Seems like at least Brothers War, because we know they have to print that many boxes for the serialized cards to work. They may be slow trickling that supply, which is not a bad thing. You see how the prices are a lot more stable because they do that versus dumping all up front. Yeah. And along with all this like cutting back on supply, cutting back on the print runs, really start working on bringing back true pre-releases. I think one of the problems I have with pre-releases recently, it just feels like, it's so squished together. Release, pre-release, and next set. Release, pre-release, next set. Preview. It's just like too much, right? All the players are complaining. There's just too much data, too much new cards. You haven't even had time to enjoy the previous set and you're already on the next set. That's not a good thing, right? Slow the product down, but also make it so that you don't reveal so much ahead of time. I think the preview thing is actually a detriment to Magic. Take a little tangent here. I don't think every set should be previewed completely. I think you should preview something about the set to give players ideas, hype up the set, drive demand to the set. But majority of the players should find out what the set's all about or all the cards at the pre-release. Have a little bit of that alpha feeling where you don't know what other cards are out there. It's kind of fun, right? Again, Magic is a game. Look, is it fair? Is it competitive? No. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, in the beginning of a set, before anyone solves it, who cares if it's fair? Who cares if people are already building like rank 1 meta decks? It doesn't matter. Let people go to pre-release. Let people play with the card, discover what cards are actually still in the set that they didn't preview, and then throughout that week, then drop the rest of the cards. Maybe even just drop all the cards, at pre-release weekend, but don't do it beforehand, right? Make it mysterious. For the stores, I would actually cut the supply for pre-release weekend by 75%. Give the stores enough supply to run the events, but not enough where they can do anything more than that. And this is really important too, because you essentially, what you're trying to create here is you want to draw people, you want to extend that pre-release weekend. You don't just want to have a pre-release weekend and then there's nothing, because again, it's squished so much together. The release weekend doesn't even feel like anything. All the products available, you can buy anything you want pre-release weekend. It doesn't feel the same, right? I would actually extend that longer. So pre-release weekend, do not charge. Make sure the stores have enough supply that they don't feel like they have to charge extra, at the door. But, and make sure you support these stores with good promos, good prize support, all this stuff, so that they have enough to give out to players, and players really have a special experience. And that will drive the demand up for a pre-release weekend. Give that 25% of the supply to the stores and have them actually sell out, right? Sell out of that and have the rest come in the week after so that they can essentially run 2 pre-release weekends. Look, if you make the stores happy, they're going to sell more of your product. They're your marketers. They're the marketers out there in the field who's selling your stuff for free. In fact, they're paying rent. They're paying all this other stuff to sell your product. So you should really treat them well, okay? Yeah. Okay, so moving forward. Yeah, make pre-release really feel like a true pre-release. Have a little bit more mystery. Have a little bit more like, no one knows what's going on. Have the mystique of like, oh, the pre-release sold out. I couldn't get a seat. That's not a bad thing. A lot of clubs, they do this where they intentionally make it so that there's a line. It's not a bad thing. I'm telling you, like, you drive that kind of hype to your product, you can actually start commanding better prices too. And look, here's the last thing. And this is going to be a little controversial because I know everyone hates on Amazon dumps and stuff like that. I personally, Wizards going to be Wizards anyways, right? Look, I think it's fine that Wizards wants to sell product directly through Amazon to the customers. I think there's two things you need to do. Number one, the product cannot be sold before pre-release. Sorry, the product cannot be pre-ordered and the product cannot be sold on Amazon and shipped during pre-release weekend. It has to be shipped after release, right? Give the stores the ability to make that money ahead and do not allow all this pre-order to come in through Amazon before. I think that's a really bad idea. You can have the product up. You can even have it coming soon. You can have it add to wish list, whatever you want to call it, right? Notify me when this thing is available, but do not allow that product to be sold on Amazon initially. Let the stores have, a way to be able to sell the product. Number two, really control the price. I mean, you have the ability to do this. Don't tank the price on Amazon. Make it on Amazon so it's available so that somebody can buy the product and ship to somewhere, for example, that's a little bit more rural, that they don't have access to a LGS. I don't think it's good to have people who are across the country or world really be able to buy the product. I just don't think you should do it at a price where it detriments the stores though, right? Look, and reality is, look, if you're limiting the supply, if you're making it so that like you're cutting the print runs anyways, it should be easy to limit the price, right? And really truly control the price. Don't tank the price too much. Shouldn't be too hard. And make Amazon the true MSRP, right? It's okay to run some sales sometimes, right? But never dump the product and limit, whenever you do sales, limit that sale, the quantity sold to each person to 1. Amazon does currently, I think, 3 per customer, but I would just drop it to 1. Make sure every customer can buy 1 draft booster, whatever that you're selling that's on sale, but just limit to 1. Make it enjoyable. Make it so that people can access the cards, but don't do it at a pace or in a way that's going to detriment your player base or your investor base or your LGS. And definitely don't do it to the point where LGS feel like they don't have to even go through the distributors and go directly through Amazon because that's a better price. So anyways, that's number 1, part 1, market stability on how Solar Games would run WotC. I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.